A standout athlete from Wahpeton who served his country in Vietnam is celebrating one of the most memorable summers of his life.
It's all part of a special reunion with a fellow veteran he never knew and a cardboard box of medals missing for 52 years. The story tonight from WDAY News reporter Kevin Wahpeton.
It's hard to beat summer nights like this on Otter Tail Lake. Light breeze, sitting with new friends on the beach, and finally an answer to a question that has lingered more than 5 decades.
And this is part of my platoon. That's me down here.
77-year-old John Nordgaard.
That was the first day I was out in the bush.
Oh, the first day.
I was 3 months back in the rear first.
Telling stories of his time as a medic in Vietnam. Unforgettable moments this Wahpeton boy cannot forget.
But that was the first day I thought I was gonna die.
John was close to avoiding time in Vietnam. He was a standout athlete who played at NDSCS and later University of Minnesota Morris. And he signed with the Atlanta Falcons. Briefly.
When Norm Van Brocklin called me into his office and he said, "Swede?" He goes, "We're gonna have to cut you. What do you plan to do now?" I said, "Well, I guess I'm going over to Vietnam."
It was 1969. And John's dad was on the draft board in Richland County.
He said, if you don't make it, you get cut. You're gone, son.
John went from the gridiron to the jungle battlefields at the DMZ in Vietnam, a combat medic. And for his heroism, he was awarded some of the military's top honors. But while in Vietnam, those medals sat in a cardboard box.
I didn't know for sure what was in the box. I knew I had gotten the medals. What I had done with them, I didn't know for sure.
Peter Lundborg of Michigan.
Anyway, it was an infantry unit.
Was in Vietnam too.
I didn't know John. Didn't know he was a medic.
I never met Peter until he brought the box.
And while Peter and John didn't know each other in Vietnam, Peter, also in the infantry, had a short stint as a mail clerk. And as the unit prepared to head back to America.
And however I came by this, whether I found it on the shelf in the mailroom or if our sergeant gave it to us or gave it to me and said, "Mail this when you get home," I don't know.
John's box of medals got mixed up in the flurry of getting out of Vietnam. The box sat in the home for years at Peter's parents' house, then Peter and Joan's house.
Because the box has been sitting and I kept looking at it and looking at it. I had to work on sitting on my workbench.
And attempts to find John over the years were just unsuccessful. No address and no internet at the time.
That wasn't really my forte, is searching the web when the web was invented.
Now, over the years, Pete tried to find John. In fact, his son went on the internet and thought he located John's daughter. He sent an email, but that email went to her spam.
Oh, and then just stayed there all that time.
Then finally, a connection. That spam email was found. Phone calls made, and Peter brought the box of missing medals to John.
A great deal. 52 years I've been, harping on what am I going to do with this box.
I'm getting goosebumps right now because it was an amazing 2.5, 3 hours that we spent just talking experiences that we had over in Vietnam, and then Joan said, "Quit talking and open up the box." It's been 52 years.
Yeah, so for it to come together, finally, that was very rewarding.
Yes.
Here on Otter Tail Lake, the two Vietnam vets looked through that box.
This is the most important one as far as I'm concerned, and that's the Bronze Star with a V in it.
Dusty, musty, full of meaning. Old audio of University of Minnesota Morris football games John listened to during the war. John's old teammates sent them. We saw binders full of letters that John wrote and received from his soon-to-be wife, Eleanor. And the medals?
So that is the first Bronze Star.
Bronze Star with Valor and the Purple Heart.
And I was not seriously wounded. I was sent to the bush almost right afterwards.
2 men brought together by war and a box of medals. That beach on Otter Tail, a bit of peace tonight. A reunion after the war. 52 years of waiting. From Otter Tail Lake, Kevin Wallivan, WDAY News.
And those reel-to-reel audio tapes of college football games sent to John in Vietnam by his teammates, he's getting them transferred now to digital so he can listen to them once again. One of the games, by the way, is against MSUM. Just an incredible story and a connection of a lifetime.
The stars aligned,
They
right?
sure did.
Pete, John, spam email. Who's not going to check their spam email
No
tonight?
kidding.
We all will.
Yeah.